Hello, I'm Frost, and welcome to my in-depth guides to Age of Wonders Planetfall. In these videos, I look at the strategies and tactics used for the various factions and secret tech. So right now, we're at episode 3 with the Vanguard using the Xenoplague. And my approach is to cut out all the unnecessary bits of the game and focus on all the things that will be of major influence, and hopefully we will win, but we shall have to see to find out. Okay, so it's the beginning of a new episode, so we're going to do a recap. The recap is I am here sitting in Dubor, and as you can see, I've got quite a few armies here, and I'm busy building at the moment a whole bunch of tanks because I got my elite facility. Now, the reason why we're building all these tanks is because I'm going to be attacking my neighbor, who is Hanaki. We don't really get on anyway, and at the end of the last episode, we saw that her armies were pretty split, or his armies. I'm not sure which gender this particular Kyoko is. So you can see the our commander is up here, all on his own, with a not very large army to supplement him. So 555 and 933, so about 1400 power. And then we found that the other three heroes were all busy occupied on this site down here. So my plan is, I think, to run up here and take out the commander, and then run back and try and take out these three colonies, or go straight to the capital, and hopefully Hanaki will be there, and I'll be able to take over all these territories. Now I'm a little bit concerned with that there because I can't quite see what's going on. Here we go. I've got a bit of a move left, so let's move down there and see if I can deploy a monitor. Oh, I've got to mention my doctrines as well. So let's have a look. Why can't I? Oh, it's because it's down here, that's why. There we go. Alright, so we're going to deploy a monitor, and we're going to pop it on top of this rock, I think. There we go. Okay, so we've got one army, one unit there. So really not an issue at all. So it is really worth me invading and attacking the Kyoko. Now, talking of doctrines, the reason why I couldn't find the deploy monitor was because the doctrines are available. You can see I have one slot available. So what we're going to do is we are going to go with biomatter scavenging, which is a Xenoplague skill. And the benefit of this, as you can see, after every victorious battle, units in Xenoplague armies heal for 5 vitality per killed biological cyborg unit. So as we're going to go to war, we really want to try and reinforce our units as much as possible after every battle. So this is a good idea. So what we're going to do is we're going to prime that now, and that's going to be added. There we go. And then the next thing I want to come on to is colonies. Now, as you can see with my colonies right now, I've started focusing my colonies. Now, as you can see, I've got quite a lot of slots here available. And I have got some growth coming, but it's in 43 turns, which is not ideal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start reassigning back some people towards food so that I can grow that colony, and I can start getting more little people in here to be able to maximize out these slots so that my production is running its maximum. Now, if we look at Icton, which is my food production, we'll see down here, I'm sharing 0, which means that there is food available in the global pool. So if I look at someone like Autumnville, and we look there, you can see I've filled up most of my slots, so I'm not really too worried about that, and I've got growth coming soon anyway. So that an extra person's going to land there in 3 turns. If I go up to Warrington, which is my energy, you can see all the slots there are filled, so I'm really not worried. And I've got 4 out of 4 sectors, so I'm not too bothered about growth, so I'm not really keen on putting people on there. But Nebin, which is a recent colony which I just acquired, you can see I've got all these slots available, and I got those slots available because of this bonus here for this this landmark, which gave me 6 slots for colonists. So what I can do here, as you can see, I'm going to get growth in 1. I've got plus 46 at the moment. I'm going to do take. And what that's going to do is it's going to request from the global pool from Icton. So you can now, it's jumped up from plus 46 to plus 71. So my income for colonists is increased, and I'm going to grow this colony much faster. And then what I will probably do is I will acquire somewhere that's a food sector, food like this one, for example. And then I can then get a bonus as well from the river, because I have environmental conditioning, which gives me a bonus for this sector because there's a river running through it. And then I will be able to grow the colony even faster and hopefully fill up these slots. So if we go back to Icton now, and we go back to people, you can see it now says sharing 35. So 25 is going over to Nebin. So something to be aware of on how you can use your colonies to kind of really boost things up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for these 3 tanks to be built, and then I'm going to go on a war footing. And I'm thinking that what I probably will do is, let's see what the militia power is on these. Okay, 790 militia there, and this one has got 870. Okay, so I can just wander straight in and just take these. So I think that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to take Hizakill, and then that should hopefully prompt Haniki to come back, and then I can go and take him out and then double back to the capital, and we'll see if these 3 guys decide to react in the meantime. So there you go, so that's the plan, that's where we're at, and I will now see you in a few turns. Right, so we're now at turn 52, and what I decided to do was I'm going to go for a sneak attack. So as you can see, Hanaki is right here doing a site all on his own with a single army of 823 power, and I've sneaked up with 2 pretty powerful armies here. And then down here I've started moving my units forwards up into the border. I've left a tank behind, I've still got another one being built. And talking of tanks, I'll come back to that in a sec. But what I also wanted to check was my kind of status of everybody else. So I'm getting on great with Robin. And so what we're going to do is we're going to compliment Robin, because what I am going to do is I am not going to use any Casus Belli. I am just going to literally pounce on Hanaki. And that's going to drop my reputation, but I want that element of surprise. And so I'm going to try and get myself on a good footing there. And then just before I do that attack, let me talk about the tanks. So the tanks I have now modded, and I've acquired a skill that gives me the option, and let me show you the actual skill itself. Here we go. Where is it? It's the non-refracting lasers. So you get 2 types of lasers. You get this one, the laser penetrator, and the shield breaker. Now I mentioned this I think in the other episode, but this one does break shields, and this one removes armor. Now, if we look at the Kirko, you can see that the Kirko themselves have shield. This one has 1 armor, 1 shield. But the Heritor units are mostly shield. And so therefore it makes more sense for me to put the shield breaker module on my units. So my tank right now, you can see I've fitted it with the shield breaker module, which gives me plus 20%. And then I've put the laser penetrator module on there, which also gives me 20%, and removed the incinerator, which is only a 10% bonus. And then as I build up Cosmite, I will be doing that with all of my units for as long as I'm battling the Kirko. Obviously I have to take into account that it takes a turn in order to be able to put that unit on. Now it takes 36 Cosmite to do that, but in Icton, as you can see, I'm training up my Cosmite chamber, so that'll give me another +5, and then down in my society research, I'm doing energy development, and any one of these 4 would have done, but energy development is kind of handy for me right now, as I'm running a little bit low because I'm starting to build up armies. So my unit upkeep, you can see there, is at minus 140. So this will give me a bonus, to give me a level 2 bonus on my energy sector, so that will help boost it up. But the reason why I want that is so that I can then go on to this one, which is then my next Cosmite Harvesting Center, which is the level 3, which will give me another +5. So then I'll be up to +30 every turn, which will be really, really good. So there you go. So that's kind of where I'm at. So what we're going to do is, can I reach in 1 turn? Yes, I can. So there we go. What we're going to do is we are going to be completely underhand, and we are just going to attack and declare war without Casus Belli, and just go and attack and auto combat, and there we go, done deal. Right, so we're now at war with a Kirko. I can upgrade a hero, so let's see what we've got here. So this is the point now where we're going to start splitting our armies once we start getting more people in. So do I want Watchmen? No, I would rather have something like you know what, I'm going to use Infantry Command. No, Field Medicine. Field Medicine is great, because once again that heals armies for 6 vitality each turn when out of combat. So we're going to do Field Medicine, and that's going to help on top of our Doctrine as well. So that should mean that we'll be fairly strong. Now, down here we've got militia, about 1,000, 1,200. I've got 1,300 and 1,150. So what we're going to do is we're going to march on down to Yvrixil, and then we will move on to Hizixil, and then have our fight at Kuznako. And then hopefully that means we will have taken over all of the colonies that belong to this to Hanaki. So can I get some move points there? I can get one move point there. Right now I've declared war. I'm probably going to be able to cross the borders, but I can't do that right now. And I will upgrade this hero as well. And we'll probably do the same thing. We'll do field medicine and get that on board as well. All right, there we go. So let's move forward. Turn 54, and I started moving on this colony whose name I can't pronounce because I can't see, Yvrixil. And another army popped up there with another hero. So there's two heroes here. But what I did is I started bringing up my armies from the south here, which were originally going to go west. And I've got them in a pincer movement, so I can bring all my forces to bear. And that's what I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to move that one up into there. I'm going to bring this one up into here. And then we are going to bring so-and-so there. And then finally, Vanessa's going to come strolling in. And we should be in a very, very strong position. So there you go, very low risk battle. I didn't bother using any strategic operations. We're going to do an auto combat on this. If I lose a couple of units, I'm really not bothered because it should just be an outright takeover. So let's see. There we go. And I didn't even use a single unit, so I don't need to do any manual combat on that. All right, so things are really not looking very good for Hanaki right now. So I'm going to migrate that to a Vanguard colony. Once again, that's going to affect my reputation, but we're going to focus on, there we go, I'm going to grab that as well. We're going to focus on staying with the Vanguard as much as possible, as that's kind of the premise of these videos. I can upgrade my heroes. So what have we got? So we're going to do field medicine again. And I've got extra skill points. Can I get the Watchman? Okay, we might as well get the Watchman as well. And I think there was another hero that I forgot to upgrade on the last turn, so let's just double check. No, everyone's upgraded, so that's fine. Right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to move on Hizixil, or whatever that one's called, Hizixil. We've got enough to take that on, and then we'll move straight on to the capital. And then that way we will acquire all these colonies. They won't become independent. And we are good to go. So you can see my influence is almost at maximum, so let's use that just to keep everybody on board. As you can see, I didn't go out of my way to find other people. Robin keeps trying to introduce me to the syndicate leader. And it's like, I don't want to have to do that because then my reputation drops with everybody. And then I have to use even more of my influence points to keep everybody under control. So the moment we don't meet, then I don't have to worry about them. So there we go. So we're going to compliment you on an empire task. There we go. That keeps Robin happy. And you can see Hanaki's still recuperating. He's going to come back in one turn. He's going to get a nasty surprise when he gets back as he finds out what's happening. Also, my tanks down here, I've got one modded. I need to get the other one modded, and I can still need another 6 points, but I'll get 25 on the next turn. So that's all good. Time to head on forwards. And what I will probably do is I expect this to be a whitewash. So I'll probably catch up with you when we get close to the capital. Okay, so we've made it to turn 58, and here we are. I am on the border of Haniki's capital. Hizixil was straightforward, or Hizixil was straightforward, as the hero ran away as soon as I arrived and went to join Haniki. So I just walked in and just took that. Just before I attack, on another note, something I wanted to bring up was, if you remember, with Nebin, I focused all about the food. You can now see I've got 13 colonists. Now, this was the last colony that I built. And it's already caught up with Warrington, Ortonville it's overtaken, and almost Dubor. Just from the fact that I kind of focused and took that food, it's allowed me to grow this colony very quickly. So I've also got the food bonuses from here. And then I've also taken annexed another sector right now in Oakwood Forest, which has got a river, and I've got another bonus there as well. Now, because I expanded so quickly, unfortunately, my residents are unhappy. So I've got to build a recreational dome. But once that's done, then I'll get my food bonus here from my agricultural exploitation. I need to shore up my defenses because they're pretty weak, and then I will then do a plus 30% bonus to my military innovation and to my military research. That's great. And what we're going to do now is, so we're going to quickly attack Yagzukno. So let's do that. I would imagine this is just going to be a straight auto combat situation. Was once again, I have overwhelming forces. Let's go, around the back here. There we go. And let's use the strategic operation
primed and ready.
just to add some more issues to it. So we can do sleeper pheromones. Fungal spore bomb will create a hazard, which I don't want to do. So yeah, let's do the sleeper pheromones, see if we can get those launched as well. Got a 40% chance. There we go, and they've lost 20% health as well, which just reduces any potential losses that I'm going to get. So there we go, so we're going to auto combat that. They were trying to build a colonizer at the last minute to try and run away, but they left it too late. And yeah, oh, there we go, I lost a vehicle. So that was it. So not really a bad loss there by any means. So once again, we're going to migrate that to a Vanguard colony. And for some reason, these should all be mine by now because I've won as far as I know. Unless that colonizer created an issue, because I don't know of any other colonies that belong to the Kyoko. And I'm pretty certain their leader was there. So I'm not quite sure what happened there. Look at that, I got a mutation as well, so I now have a Plague Lord. So that's great. So we'll be doing something with that. And also I mustn't forget to upgrade my tank over here. That's been upgraded, so we can upgrade our engineer. We've already got some mods for that, so let's just put those straight on. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all my armies. I'm going to bring them back to probably Yviksril. And then I'm probably going to attack 6RO. We're actually in a non-aggression pact at the moment. You can see we're on really good terms. But I will do another sneaky attack and be very deplorable and just attack unannounced, I think. But my plan now is, at the moment it says I only got 20 out of 60 sectors. But normally by this point of the game, I decide what I'm going to do. And I think I'm going to try and occupy, 80% of the sectors, because I haven't got any borders. I can see there's someone else up here. There's a red border there, who I don't know who that is. And I spotted another border. There's a green border up here, which is another unknown commander. But I'm going to try and just expand north into this area. So I think I'm going to drop a colonizer right there in Ancient Peaks. Or I could just roll into Rustanev and take that settlement. It's a dwarven settlement, or sorry, a Dvar settlement. So I will just roll up there. I think I'll just build, in fact, I've got somewhere, I had a little owl, there we go, I've got an owl floating around. So we're going to send him away and he can head north. And we'll see if we can just walk in and just take that area. So we'll do that. And I'll also maybe try and deploy a colonizer. So I think that's a good move. At the moment, I'm not doing anything in Dubor. And I've got the fast transit infrastructure, so it won't take me any time to get up there. So what we'll do is we'll get Dubor and we'll build a colonizer. Except I used all my cosmites. So there we go. So I've got to wait one turn and then I'll build my cosmite. So there we go. So Haneke is no more, as far as I know. In theory, those colonies should all have been mine immediately, but no worries. I'm absorbing them, so within a few turns they'll be mine anyway, and I'm not expecting any conflicts in the meantime. All right, so catch up with you in a minute. Turn 61, and I now understand why I didn't automatically take over Haneke's territory, because he's been sneaky, and he ran away. Look, he's right there on a raft, so I need to take him out. So that's what I'm going to be doing now. So I've sent 2 armies kind of back, so I'm going to head down there and see if we can finish this once for all. So that was rather sneaky of Haneke. I thought he would have made a last stand, and I keep forgetting to pick up that damn stuff that's there in that crate, but never mind. I'm sure I can do without it. So in the meantime, I'm going to go down there, deal with that, building a few more tanks and a pug for reinforcements, which I'm then going to send up. So that I can then split up and get my 5 armies with my 5 commanders in. My colonizer is almost in place. I think I'm going to go with global desert right there. We don't have to worry about lava because I think I have the skill now. Let me double check. Yeah, I have adaptive exploitation, which means that I actually generate income from having lava going through there, and it doesn't actually bother me. And also I don't have a problem with volcanic terrain anymore. So that's brilliant. I'm also training up Operation Effectiveness 4. As you can see, I'm kind of getting really far up my tree now, both in this one, society, and in the military tree. We're kind of getting into the top end stuff now, and that's because my research is so high from all those bonuses that I acquired from this level 4, this level 5, this level 3, and this level 2 that I acquired within my colonies. Is giving me a really, really big boost from a research point of view. And then my little owl here, he's heading up to Rostanev to meet with the Dvar and get them on side. And like I said, I've got 190 influence, so I should be able to afford that. So there you go. So what we'll do is I think we'll pull these guys back and just regroup and get them sitting at least in Dubor so that we get that bonus to the experience in the meantime, whilst I try and finish off Hiniki. So catch up with you in a little while. Okay, time to catch up because we're at turn 63. And what's happened? Well, as you can see from the right hand side of my screen, lots of things have happened. But one of the main things, as you can see, Hiniki right now is looking much happier. And the reason why is rather than obliterate him off the map, we had a little chat and he's become a vassal and I've become an overlord. So now Hanaki works for me. He obviously hasn't got any any colonies left and he can't build a colonizer. So I'm not quite sure what he's going to do, but he can wander around and help out if necessary. So that's all excellent news. So I don't have to worry about Hiniki and I don't have to go traveling down there chasing after him. So I'm now bringing my units back. So that covers kind of Hiniki. There we go. So I forged an alliance and he's become my vassal. I own 50% of the sectors in order to get victory. And that was before I think Bidoth became mine. So if we actually check, there you go, 34 of 60. And on top of that, I have now plonked down a new colony here in Ador. Which I need to make. What shall I make it into? We're going to make it into a food colony. We're going to focus on food just because I want to grow as quickly as possible now. As you can see, I've got plus 523 on my knowledge income, which is massive. So I don't have to worry about research. That's going to happen all on its own. So we're going to produce a biofarm there. And there we go, Rostanev as well. It cost me about 70 influence to get Rostanev. And the first things that we're going to do is we're going to build a biofarm for them as well. We're going to put in a standard military infrastructure and their bombard cannons, which are their turrets. And we'll do the same for Hador before I forget. Make sure we've got our infrastructure in place. We're getting loads of energy, so I can afford to run these without any issues. So there we go. So that's going to put those in place. And then hopefully those are going to grow of their own accord without too much intervention from me. And then down in Dubor, I need to just bring all my units back. In fact, I'm going to bring up my units from Dubor up to here. There we go. I can pop them. Where can I pop them? Just about there. And then what I will do is I will reorganize all my armies in there. And I will bring these guys back as much as I can. But we've got transit infrastructure now. So that means on the next turn, I'll be able to move through here very quickly, gather all my armies together, and then we're going to pop in and say hello to 6RO, I think. In fact, what I will do is I'm going to take my little owl, and we're going to go across with the owl, and I want to go over the back here and try and get in here and deploy a monitor so that I can see what's going on. In fact, that reminds me, I've got these monitors now that I don't need. So I can remove these monitors as otherwise they're just a waste of five energy every turn. So there we go. So they're taken care of. And yeah, so let me get these armies together and start heading north. I've been introduced to the Syndicate commander who was recuperating and now feels clearly much better. So we'll give him a little hello anyway. There we go. And also now Robin is recuperating. So that's good news for me because that means that they've been fighting and that's going to weaken them whilst I'm pretty much at full strength. So I should be able to walk all over this map, but we will see what happens in the next few turns. I'm going to get myself organized. Just before I go, I'm going to show you where I'm at here. So I got my Plague Lord mutation, as you saw, because I was able to mutate up to Plague Lords on the last battle. I now have my Walkers, which are my heavy units. And I also have the skills, I think, which is to put the mods on there. But I'll have a look at that a little bit later on. So I've got Carrier Command to go. But before that, I'm doing Proliferated Aggression because I want this skill, which is a Xenoplague skill, which is really good. It's called Biospore Hyperaggression. And what it does is it basically, you launch it, and within 2 hexes, everything within those 2 hexes for 3 turns get 25% damage to their bonus, and the unit gets a 15% boost to their vitality. So these are great to put on heroes. You bring in your hero, get all your units around it, boof, 25% extra damage for 3 turns. So yeah, that's all for that. And then you can see I've not bothered with my aquatic deployment, so it's a good job I didn't have to take energy off across the waters. And then I've not bothered about this energy development 1 either. My energy development's doing fine. And not bothering with orbital relays either. I'm doing subjugation protocols, not because I want these doctrines. Being able to do tactical operations the first turn of combat, not really that important for me right now. Neither is getting more influence, because I'm doing fine on influence, but I want to go up here and consider maybe one of these doctrines. You can see I've got a free doctrine slot up there. So I've got either Forced Infection, which gives all my units the Xenoplague in a good way. And so if I lose any units, it just spawns pustules, which can then evolve up to Destroyers and into Plague Lords. Or I might use Organic Mutation Research, which gives me 20% research, but my research is so good, I'm not too bothered. Or I could even wait and get up here. That gives me boost to my morale and stuff. I don't care about that. And that gives me extra support. No, so what I'm going to do is I will probably use this one, which is the Forced Infection, because that will help out my units should I lose any. So there you go. And we'll get that in just a few turns now. So I'll regroup and catch up with you in a minute. Right, so we're at turn 67, and I was trying to move one of my units up here, as you could see, this guy here, to try and find out what this army was, and 6R expanded right on top of me, so I'm going to have to move that unit out, except I'm going to war, so I actually don't need to worry about it. But what I want to show you as well is that Hador has started expanding, so I've just acquired another sector there. Rostenev is ready to annex as well, so I'm going to annex Ancient Peaks. In fact, no, I'm going to use Hador and move. Yeah, I was pointing to the screen there. That's not going to help you, is it? I'm going to move north with Hador, and then with Rostenev, I'll move over here. So whilst I'd prefer a food one, it's more important that I get more connected, so I get the transit infrastructure and I get roads built, so I can move around quickly. As you can see, I've got infection experiments done, which means I can add now
Operations
the
primed
forced
and ready.
infection doctrine, which I mentioned earlier. So there we go. So that's priming. And then what we're going to do up here is I really want that Cosmic Mastery up the end there. So I could do advanced. No, let's do production development. Get that one out of the way, and then I'll do advanced relay infrastructure, and then I'll go up to Cosmic Mastery. My Cosmite's coming in, so I've been sort of upgrading units as I'm going along. The Hyper Aggression mod, which I mentioned earlier, takes 50 Cosmites, so it's really expensive. So I've applied it to Vanessa at the moment. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to war, I think. So I've found 6A's capital. It's right up here. There's only 2 units there. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. And the only army I know of is the one that's here, which I saw earlier, which was 6RO herself. And her army was only about a power of 1,000. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go straight in. We're going to trespass because we don't care. And just line everybody up. There we go. We'll get you round back there. And we'll just declare war, I think. Yeah. We don't care about... oh, we've got Cassus Bellice. No, we don't. So we've only got moderate. That's fine. I'll take that. Right, so I can't attack this turn, but that's fine. It will attack the next turn. But I'm already in the position where I can just move straight up to Gabtron and deal with that. So let's catch up in a turn or two. and we see where we can go from there. In fact, just before I do that, I can bring him back into the fold. There we go. Right, see you in a minute. So we've moved forwards one turn to turn 68, and the armies that were here in ZUQ have moved. In the meantime, I lost my little owl whilst I was trying to run around the back here, but I found 6A. She's there all on her own, and she's in her HQ at the moment. So what I could do is I could try and rush up after I've taken ZUQ, or I can try and find out what's in here. So either way, it would be a race up to Gabtron. I think it's called Gabtron. Yeah, Gabtron. And they would get there before me because obviously they've got their own transit infrastructure. And then I'll have to come back and use influence to take this colony. So I might as well just head north into the unknown. So what we're going to do is we're going to move Vanessa in. We're going to auto-combat this. There we go. I've upgraded from a pustule to a destroyer as well. And I've not lost anything, so that's great. We're going to migrate that to a Vanguard colony. And then we're going to head north and see what's going on up here. So let's move as far north as I can with all my units. There we go. Oh, it's literally 2 armies. So yeah, that was definitely the right way to go. Unless there's something just outside of my vision at the moment that I'm not aware of. Either way, I mean, I assume, the only thing I can assume is that 6R and Robin and I think it's Dimitri is the guy's name from the Syndicate. What's his name? Is it Dimitri? Famita, there we go. They've all been fighting each other and they've worn themselves down, which is great for me because I'm just able to walk in. So yeah, we're going to go up to Kuzdron and we're going to take Kuzdron and then hang a right towards Gaptron. All the Trons, apparently. And so I will probably meet you in Gaptron. That'll be the easiest way to take things from here. Once again, forwards one turn to turn 69. And so I took Kuzdron. And what I found really, really surprising is as a consequence, the rest of this map opened up. And as you can see, there's a fair amount of armies here. You know, there's some forces here from 6R. There's an army of 973, an army of 952. There's another army here with a hero of 1231. And for some reason, 6A is just sitting on her own in her HQ, which is the worst place she could be right now. So I have no idea what is going on with 6R. I think she's got a blown fuse. That's the only thing that makes any sense. So what I'm going to be doing now is forget these colonies and defending them. I'm going to try and rush over to that HQ before these other armies do, because if I can do that, then basically 6R is off the map. So really, really interesting now. I'm really surprised by the AI that it would make that kind of a mistake. But we're going to run with it, and I will catch up with you in a second once we find out what happens with these armies. We're now at turn 72, and we're right on top of Gabtron. So some units were moved in. You can see this army of 6 here has moved in. But this one got left behind, which was probably a mistake because that would have filled another slot around. So I can get 4 of my armies in here. And I have one army that is especially powerful, this one here, where it's nothing but modded tanks with laser penetrator modules and shield breaker modules. I should probably have swapped those over for the armor ones, but I think we'll be okay. And then I've even got like a walker in there as well. So the reason why I put all the tanks together is so that when I get some skill points for this guy here, Samuel, I'll be able to give him, is it Ground Commander? Yeah, which gives another 10% damage to all of my heavy units. So that was kind of the reasoning for that. But what we're going to do anyway is we're going to move him around the back here. There we go. We're going to move Vanessa around to the side, as I know she's a fairly strong army. Then we're going to take 1748. Yeah, we're going to take you and pop you over here. And then before we actually go in, we're going to do the orbital laser cannon, which deals damage equal to 40% of the targeted army. So that's a pretty good one. So we've only got a 35% chance, but you know what? I'm going to take it. They've still taken 20% damage, so that's fine. So we might as well just wear them down as much as we can. I've also got the sleeper pheromones, There we go. So we can launch those, and we can launch those on this arm. We've only got a 25% chance, but we'll still do 20% damage. Oh, it was successful. There we go. So we've got parasitic infection as well. So I would imagine this is going to be a straight auto combat. I don't think there's going to be any issues there whatsoever. Very low risk battle. And see how this pans out. I would imagine I'll lose a few units at least. Although my units are very, very well modded. So there we go. I lost a gunship. And then I got another Plague Lord in return. And I lost another vehicle. Cecilia again. She keeps losing her vehicles. She's not doing a good job. She's not going to get her. She's not going to get another one out of the pool at this rate. And then we've got another pustule that has evolved into a destroyer. So overall, that's excellent. So she's now been defeated. I have loads of influence points, so I can just move over there and take that colony. So we're looking in a very, very strong position now to get these 80% sectors. We're at 48 of 60. You can see my unit capability is 1 of 4, my capability 1 of 4, a development capability 1 of 4. So I'm kind of pretty much there. What's interesting is my rank is 2 of 6. The only thing I can assume with that is that because Hanaki is part of my alliance, that somehow affects it. It's the only thing I can think of. But I'm in a very, very strong position at this stage. I think it's going to be a walk in the park. So we're probably going to jump forwards quite a few turns, I think. Because can I even... look, I can even get right there now and guide them. There we go. And we're going to migrate that into a Vanguard colony. You know what? At this point, I think we might as well just absorb it. I think we've kind of proven what we can do with the Vanguard. So, all the way down here, I've built a heavy walker, and I've also built another colonizer. So as you can see, I'm going all out to gain the territory that I need. And what we're going to do is we're going to... Oh, I've moved my my heavy walker as well. It's fine. You can come and join the ranks. I'm going to move it up here to probably Ava's Dunes because I can't be right next door to Tobbington. So either that or this one here, actually. There we go. So Bridal Veil Falls. And I'll set it up once again as a food colony so it expands quickly. I can expand into these sectors. And then we'll be pretty much there, I think. So, yeah. Let's pick this up as well before I forget. There we go. We're going to move that to the arsenal. What have we got? Wide range mending kit. No, not too bothered about that. But the bio launcher, we'll have to see. I'm actually quite happy with the setup that I've got at the moment. We'll see if there's a big battle at the end. I'm not sure there will be, but stick with me and we'll see how this pans out. Right, so we've jumped forwards quite a few turns. We're at turn 77. The reason why I was moving all my armies east, you can see them all lined up here, because I'm going to go now and attack Femita. I could see his structures here, and I might as well just YOLO in, or if nothing else, I'm going to sit tight here, one of the two, because I now own 56 of the 60 sectors required to win through just occupying sectors. On top of that, I have built another colonizer, which is sitting right here, and I'm going to deploy it. Where was I going to deploy? Oh yeah, down here, right on Vineyard Rose, and then I can expand downwards into kind of this area here, and then all my other colonies. Sorry, my mind's going. I've been at this for a while now. All my other colonies are just growing. Oh, looks like Gabtron needs a little bit of cheering up, so let's give them some botanical gardens. There we go. But then I'm going to just keep on building colonizers. So I need 70 Cosmite to build my next one, and I'm getting 32 Cosmite every turn at the moment. I've then also now grabbed this Cosmite here. So when I can next annex a sector for Rostanev, unfortunately I did Urban Sprawl without realizing I could grab that. So when I can next get a sector for Rostanev, I'll get a Cosmite bonus there as well. So overall, I think I've got nothing to lose now by just heading into Femita's territory and maybe trying to take this colony, and that would just push me right over the edge and will guarantee a win. So I'll see what happens in the next turn or two and make a judgment call, but I think that's probably going to be the way to go. Turn 80, and I have come to a decision. It was a pretty easy decision to make. I have now reached the final stage where I have enough sectors to be able to complete this. So there we go. So I'll be victorious in 10 the moment I keep all these sectors. On top of that, I've literally just plopped down another, well, I'm about to plop down another colonizer in Windset Cliffs. And also I can go offshore if I need to get some more sectors, because I finally got round to training up my aquatic skills. So talking of skills very quickly, I have pretty much everything because I have plus 771 knowledge income. You could see I've pretty much got everything maxed out. I'm even training up like hegemony. So I'm pretty much there in terms of all the skills that I can have. And rather than actually putting the cosmite into my units, I might as well just keep building colonizers and just keep expanding, so that way I'm safe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit tight right here, because Femita's up here and Robin is down here somewhere. So they're both to the east, so I don't have to worry about the west at all. And on top of that,
operations primed and ready.
That's one button. Robin wants to do a defensive pact, so I'm going to do okay. And I also went into a non-aggression pact with Femita, so they would have to break those in order to attack me. So I don't think I'm going to have an issue here. What's his proposal now? Oh, yeah, accept the defensive pact. Yep, I'll have that as well. So I think I've now got a defensive pact with both of them. Yeah, so there we go. So I can't see them in any way attacking me whilst I own these sectors. And if they do, I'm probably outnumber them. And I've got a defensive pact, so if they break it with me, then they will go at war with the other. So pretty strong position. So I think I'm just going to see you in 10 turns and just confirm that this was a win, as I'm pretty much sorted. So I guess see you in 10 turns. Right, so I've literally come forwards just one turn. I literally just popped down my new colonizer, as you could see here. And I received a proposal from Robin to form an alliance. So I went, sure, why not? Because, I don't want you invading me. And now I've just received a proposal from Femita for the same thing. Now, if I have an alliance with both players, they cannot attack me. So that means I win. I press accept. And there we go. So I won without having to kill everybody this time. Unlike with was it the Amazons, I think? I can't even remember now. I think it was the Amazons. Yeah, I went out and just obliterated everybody with a doomsday weapon and attacked them and obliterated everybody. This time, a little bit nicer. So there you go. She's got that pose. She's very happy with herself as Vanessa. So there we go. So hopefully you found that useful. I think the key there was that I expanded very, very quickly. And I think doing the sites with the Vanguard and using the Valkyries to complete those sites gave me a huge advantage, because I got such bonuses. I built up an overwhelming force very quickly, with Jubor being very good on the production side and having my research so I could mod my units and have very high powered units very early on in the game. I think is what meant that I was able to just outclass everybody. And you could see here on this chart down the bottom that when I beat the Kyoko, I was already kind of stepping ahead. And so I don't know if we can go back through the turns. There we go. So if I go back and just move this line back, yeah, even as early as turn, so as a turn 45, I started to climb, which was the time when I started doing the sites. And then by turn 50 was when 60 was when I beat Hanaki. And then I started acquiring all this territory, which gave me so many resources that I was able to build and build and build. And then from there on, everyone just sort of fell by the wayside. So there you go. So I hope you found that interesting. Please give me a like if you did. You can dislike as well. That's no problem. And please be sure to subscribe, as I do produce a lot of Planetfall content, as well as other sci-fi gaming stuff. And hit the bell icon if you want to get notifications of my next video. Right, thank you very much for watching. That is a wrap. We are done in 3 episodes. Bye for now.